Debate with bake. Season 4. Let's go. Here we go, Debate with Bake Sports Show. Season 4, live at Mo City Radio. We talking basketball, football, and boxing. You got something to say, man? Jump up in them comments. We just giving opinions, supporting it with proof. Let's look at the stats, cause numbers tell the truth. It ain't no hating, we just debating, interviewing guests so we can learn how they operating. Shout out to Prize Picks for the daily fantasy. Invest a few dollars, let's do some gambling. C-Bake got the topics, and he keep it cracking. Laro got the commentary, and he never lacking. Cole with the game, he live from the Big Apple. You know, most serious entertainment made it happen. Another sports show, we live from the Mo. Debate with Bake, Season 4, let's go.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, back to another episode of Debate with Bake podcast, brought to you by Most Serious Entertainment at mostserious.com. We back in the building, and we happy to see y'all. I know y'all probably thought when you looked at this screen, like, who the hell is that sitting on there with that tight-ass jacket? It sounds like Debate with Bake, but it definitely don't look like Debate. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I decided to come in the studio looking like Cole today. I'm dressed. I got my tight shirt on, my tight Mr. Rogers sweater, because I had to come here straight from work. So yes, you have the Stephen A. Smith version of Debate with Bake. You got the Cole version of Debate with Bake, even though Cole be wearing his hats and his fitteds on here. But welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's still me, Debate with Bake. I just got a different fit on, man. You know what I'm saying? I just want everybody to know that we are brought to you by Most Serious Entertainment. Again, check us out at mostserious.com. And I'm not turning over a different leaf. I'm not going to ESPN. I'm still Most Serious. You know, I just got a different look today. So shout out to my man Chuck for making it happy, man. Check us out again. Go check out the other acts on mostserious.com. Guns Down, Gloves Up, Dr. Jeremiah, a.k.a. Johnny Binder, Dr. Candace Matthews. What they doing over there, they doing a great job. And again, shout out to my man Chuck for making everything happen. All right, we back in at the Sports Center of Most Serious Entertainment. Make sure you get in the chat. Put your questions in. We got a lot to talk about. But before we get into it, and we do have a lot to talk about, man, let's get to the panel, man. Let's get to the co-hosts who make it happen, to the co-hosts who bring down Debate with Bake when he get too high, when he get the big head. But let's go straight to the Big Apple first, to my man Cole. Cole, what's going on with you, man? I see you got your NY hat on, man. What's going on, baby?
What's good? We over here chilling, man. 60-degree weather in New York City. So if you were here, I would have to tell you leave that sweater home. But otherwise, man, life is good, man. Happy Monday.
All right. Life is good. Y'all on spring break up there, Cole?
Nah, spring break is after this week, I think.
Okay. All right. Well, shout out to all the New Yorkers up there, man. Cole holding it down for the 5 boroughs. Good to see my man with the New York hat on. It is spring training. You got the Yankees, you got the Mets, and the Knicks still looking good, man. Cole, you feel good about the Knicks, even though your man Bronson is hurt? You still feel good about him?
We probably gonna lose tonight to the Kings. I don't know, man. I feel like we a little soft this year, man. We need like a Doka at coach, man. Like Tibbs is dead, man. I think this has to be Tibbs last year if we don't do nothing, man.
Man, I thought you would never say that, man. You know, you have a love and hate relationship with Tibbs, man. One day you like him, the next day you like it's time for him to go. But it may be time for him to go. But anyway, we'll get to that a little bit later. We might touch on the Knicks just a tad bit, but we got a lot to talk about the NFL and everything. But before we get to that, man, let's get to my man over here to the left, man. My boy, man, Ro, he's in the building representing Houston, Texas, 3rd Ward to be exact. And Ro, what's going on with you, man? You got the Houston Rockets Scully on, the Black Scully, which means you mean business. What's going on, man?
Military-minded, man. Look. Teamwork make the dream work. I'm glad we got all the brothers together to go and get it popping. It's a lot to discuss, like my man done said. So Let's get on to it. I appreciate your honest appraisal of the coaching and the apple, Nicole. That's 100. I really, really appreciate the candidacy. That's why you my guy.
He do keep it. I will give him that. He'll brag on his team, but he will be the biggest critic. That's why I love him, man. He will. Sometimes I have to tell him to get off the Knicks so much, but he will criticize on Ro. But yeah, Ro, man.
My buck, keep it a buck.
It's good to see you, man. You got that dead president's vibe too, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Lorenz Tate, man. Yeah, it looked like we about to go do a heist. You know what I'm saying? Y'all remember that part, dead presidents when they got on the armored truck, man, with the face painted. But shout out to my man Ro, man.
I ain't want to be political and come in with the white face you did.
I know
I ain't want to do it like that. I ain't want to do it like that. But you know what? We here. Even called the reference, like I said, people nostalgia. I like to throw it in there, mix it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Getting a little mix on the ropes, ain't you?
That's right. That's right. My man got the best vibe in the business right now. My man Ro, man. We just appreciate Ro coming on, man, and boosting the show as he's done, man. But all right, let's get into it. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe, man. Make sure you subscribe to the Sports Center of MoSerious.com. All right, let's get into it. Let's go to. This is probably not the top story, but this is what I put in the chat first because I think this is probably one of the more, I want to say, impactful trades. There it is right there. All right. So I started with the DK Metcalf trade, but the Seattle Supersonics, the Seattle Seahawks are trading DK Metcalf to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 2025 second round pick. Metcalf, it is said to be, and Cole, I don't know if this is a fact. You could check this if you want, but it says that he's signing a 5-year, $150 million contract extension with Pittsburgh. All right, let's talk about this. This stuck out to me because I feel like this is a great pickup, regardless of what the quarterback situation is in Pittsburgh. And there's been different rumors about maybe Russ moving on. And we'll talk about one of the other quarterbacks did move on, Justin Fields. We'll get to that later. But let's talk about this. Let's start with you, Cole. I want you to talk about what you first saw when you saw this on the screen. Now, this happened before a few of these trades took place. So, of course, the landscape has changed. But what did you immediately think when you saw this on your screen when Metcalf was traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers from the Seattle Seahawks?
I thought that I thought it was an excellent move. I think they needed someone across from Pickens because Pickens was really the only valid receiver they had, and then they had a great tight end. And I think that it evens out. It makes their offense more balanced. However, the first thing I thought about was Justin Fields can't be the quarterback that they're trying to have. I love Justin Fields, but I think if you're going to pick up someone like DK, I think you're thinking about someone who's going to be passing the ball about 25 times a game. And I don't see Justin Fields doing that for any team. I actually think it's going to be a well-balanced offense. So with that being said, I foresee them making some bigger moves, but I think it's an excellent move to bring in DK Metcalf, though.
Right. Ro, what do you think, man? What do you think? What did you see? What did you think when you first saw this trade?
Well, when I first saw it, that jumped off the page where he's going to have the instant chemistry with Russ, being that they seem to have committed somewhat for the foreseeable future to him out there. And just like Cole hit it on the head, it's like, the deep ball that Russ throws, linking up with Metcalf is going to really bring a new dimension to that offense and then a new dimension what they got going on. I'm not quite sure what Seattle was thinking other than maybe DK being disgruntled and not quite being satisfied with the situation there. And it might be a case of a little too late. I'm not going to get to it, but other things that transpired, like my co-host said. And I think it's a great move in Pittsburgh. Things are looking up.
And let me add to that because I'm going to tell you something. First of all, I want to talk about both Pittsburgh and Seattle in this. Let's start with Pittsburgh. I think it's an excellent pickup, but the question I have is, and I do think Russ has something left in the tank. My question to the panel is this. Could it be possible that Pittsburgh is looking at Russ? Because even when we go back to Russ' best years, let's talk about that. Obviously, it was in Seattle. Denver was a small stop. But in Seattle, would it be safe to say, and I ask both of y'all this, Russ's most successful years was probably him more being of, statistically, probably when everybody left. when Lynch was gone, the Legion of Boom was gone. Even though Seattle didn't really get past the first round, statistically, those were probably his better years, maybe his prime. But maybe Pittsburgh is looking at this, and I want to pose this question to the panel, and I want to pose this question to the chat. Do you guys think Russ is going to be there? And when I'm going from the mindset of maybe Pittsburgh is thinking this is the first time that he's had a big play receiver. Now he had, what's my man he had in Seattle? Who's Lockett. And he had Baldwin, but nobody on the level of DK Metcalf.
Nobody with that speed or physicality.
Now, question number one is, and I'll rephrase this: does Russ have enough in the tank to still make something happen with Metcalf? Or do you think Pittsburgh is going to make another move at the quarterback? Because there was some rumblings too in terms of it seemed like Tomlin, I don't have facts, but he was disgruntled with Russ play at the end. I mean, I think they lost like 5 straight games going into the playoffs because I want the Texans to play. But let's start with you, Ro. What do you think? Do you think Pittsburgh, should they give Russ, maybe I'll rephrase that, should they give him another run with a big play receiver? Because when we look back through his career, no disrespect to Baldwin, no disrespect to those guys in Seattle. Because Metcalf wasn't there when Russ was there, right?
Right.
So does he have enough? Do you think they're going to make another move for a quarterback? Or is it worth them taking a chance on Russ with a type of player like Metcalf? You go ahead, bro.
I believe it's worth it. I believe it's worth the chance. I believe he's got something left. What was alarming, like you alluded to, is the fact that he kind of tailed off, and I don't know whether that was because of the ring rust, so to speak, quote unquote, that he gained in Denver with the experience in Denver on the come up, because this did revitalize and rejuvenate his career, so to speak. But yeah, I think their bigger issue is just down the road on how he finishes and loading up, because they don't have the luxury of having that loaded quarterback room anymore,
right? With
Fields out of the door. And it's like they didn't really plan on utilizing that 2-quarterback system too much, apparently. And like you said, it's no secret. Tomlinson doesn't get married to anybody. He doesn't commit to anybody. He's going to do what's best in the best interest of the team and the best interest of the style of play that he's got going on. I think that this balances the offense, and I think with another full year under belt, they ought to remain competitive well off into, and make a bigger splash, so to speak, because it's a parallel situation to the situation in Minnesota, because Darnold had a similar fizzle toward the very, very end. Other than that, it was rave reviews all around.
Right.
But it's definitely something to be aware of. He's definitely getting up there. And I think they're definitely poised to make another move down the line somewhere else, but they're on a per case basis right now. And I think that they're going to just handle what's going on right now in the quarterback room as it stands is how it's going to stand, and they moving forward like that.
Okay. Cole, what do you think? Does this move make you think that they think that Russ is going to be the guy? Does it look like that Pittsburgh is saying we want to give him a shot with a big play receiver? Or do you anticipate another move possibly being made, whether it be the offense or a quarterback?
I think, me personally, I think they got to move on. I think that last year when the offense started to tail off, you kind of start to see what the true Russell Wilson is going to be, especially after a long season. He looked like his body slows down, like it's wearing down. I think he's a solid stopgap quarterback right now in his career, where it comes like, okay, you lose your starter for 5 games. He could fill in for 5 games. He's great to have on the team for the next, few years as a backup. But I think his years as a starter and being effective, I think with him, with DK and Pickens, I don't see them being better than, an 8-win team at max if their defense is up for it. But to me, I didn't see enough of those big plays from him down the stretch. I didn't see that old Russell Wilson that used to change the game with 1 or 2 plays. I don't feel like if it's a 2-minute warning and he needs to score to come back, I don't feel like he could do that anymore. I think they should go the younger route. Even someone like Daniel Jones that just left the Giants. I actually think he has untapped potential. I'm not saying he's better than Russell. Why? I think right now, he's a better fit as far as youth-wise and his ability to run the ball. So
let's talk about this. I don't mean to cut you off, Cole. So you think Jones could fit or is worth a shot? Now, being that you clearly stated that you think they should go in another direction, so you named Jones. Now, what about your guy? I thought about this too, and I was going to bring this up. What about your guy that you was high on in Tennessee that they ended up getting rid of?
Willis.
Yeah. Is it worth when you say go to the young route? Is that somebody you would consider giving a call to bring in?
I'll tell you this: what I saw from him from Green Bay. If I was the Jets, that would have been my first choice over Justin Fields because I think he's a better passer than Justin Fields. I'm not saying Justin Fields is going to be good; it's going to be bad. And I think Daniel Jones is probably a better passer than Justin Fields. But I think Justin Fields has better ball security, and I think you can do more with him as far as if you have the right offense around him. I think they're going to be a little bit of that run offense a little bit,
But you don't think it's worth them? You wouldn't take a look at the guy if you Pittsburgh.
I would. I would.
Is there anybody else on the younger side that you would take a look at? That I mean, and I'm not saying you're gonna sign these guys, and I'm asking you this because you think Pittsburgh should go younger.
Milton from the backup for New England Patriots. I think he's a solid young player too. He's mobile quarterback, and I think in that division. I think you need some mobile quarterback, someone who can move the pocket, run the play action pass, because you're playing against some defenses in the AFC, man. Even outside of their division with the Ravens and Garrett, you need a mobile quarterback. And I think Wilson he ain't mobile like that no more.
Right. All right, let's talk about Seattle, and then we'll go to the next part of the show. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, and I don't know, maybe this is worth a debate or not, but I was surprised that, number one, I was surprised that Seattle let Geno walk out of the door. And I'm not saying that Geno is that good, but I just thought with the most improved player, it looked like they were going to a upward trajectory with Geno. I didn't think Geno played bad, and I didn't think he didn't deserve to be traded. But seeing that, and they replaced him with Darnold, and I'm talking about the Seahawks, I did not anticipate that. I knew Metcalf was unhappy with the organization, that is the Seahawks, but I didn't anticipate Geno Smith being gone. I don't see a direction where Seattle was going. I like Sam Darnold, but I think Sam Darnold is only going to be successful as that system that they made in Minnesota,
a game manager.
Yeah, I think the defense has to be stout like Minnesota, and I think they have to have a big play receiver, weapons. They had him with a lot of weapons in Minnesota. I don't see that in Seattle. And it looks like what, and correct me if I'm wrong, either one of y'all, but it looks like they've got Darnold for what, 2 seasons? Did they sign him for 2 seasons? Sam Darnold, I don't know what they signed him for, but
I saw a figure around 150.
And it doesn't
100.
Right.
100.
It doesn't seem like it's a long-term deal. Let me pull it up here. But
I think the 3rd year is optional, if I recall.
Yeah, I think it's a 2-year deal. I think you're right, Cole, for like 100 and something, somewhere along those lines, which it looks like they're just trying to do, if you ask me, in my opinion, is something temporary. So it says here, he's reached an agreement with the Seahawks, a 3-year, $110.5 million contract, including $55 million guaranteed. So it looks like they're not planning on. They're only going to give him a 2 or 3 year contract, which I understand that, but I just don't think, and I want to ask both of y'all, and people in the chat can comment as well. Shout out to Jason Turner, who he put his comment about Russ in terms of Pittsburgh. He thinks that it will work out with Metcalf. Shout out to Jason. But my question to you two is, what is the direction of Seattle? Because I don't understand. I don't know what's going on. Are they starting over, or are they jockeying for position in the draft? Do they have their eyes on somebody else? Because I'm not big on Darnold. I like what Darnold did in Minnesota, but I think that's more of a system thing. And of course, Minnesota's probably going to go for their rookie, their kid that got hurt. I can't blame them for that. Yeah. Right. But let's start with you first, Ro. What can you see the direction that Seattle is going in on this? I don't understand. It looks like they're cleaning house.
Yeah, and well, in a manner of speaking, because in my honest opinion, I think we are the same philosophy that Geno definitely did enough to get some more.
I didn't understand that.
It didn't really make a lot of sense. He was the comeback player of the year, and he really didn't do a bad job.
Right.
And I really can't differentiate much other than he did more with less than Darnold in in
In
Minnesota. Yeah,
exactly.
so it's like I can
That's a great
understand them
point.
want to do it a stopgap, but with the landscape of the rest of the division, San Francisco's in shambles. Those teams. I mean, I think that they're willing to shake it up just enough, and they feel like they're still going to be competitive or at least contend for the division, because that's not necessarily competitive. They might go on.
Yeah, because who's over there? Stem, the Niners, the
Arizona,
Cardinals, and the Rams, right?
Yeah,
and the Rams won that division last year, right?
Right. And out of nowhere,
right.
It was like maybe they might be looking to land, maybe say Kyler Murray or somebody else that might be another veteran quarterback who might have a little bit more explosiveness to the position, but I don't know the name of the guy. I ain't understood Seattle since that pass on the goal line. To be honest with you, with beast mode. So, see, it don't make a lot of sense. They seem to be a bit listless, a little bit aimless out there, and I mean. Well, hey, look, I mean, just being all the way honest, we are familiar with it out here in Houston. That's what the shit we do. I mean, look, if we won a division, we won a Super Bowl out here in Houston half the time.
Right.
That's
another great point.
It's like, man, look, they just trying to stay relevant as they can for now. Maybe they can make a big splash down the line, clear some cap space, but right now, yeah, I think they're just playing for middle of the pack. They're just playing for now. I love it for Las Vegas. On the other hand,
right?
We'll get to that too.
Well, we'll talk about that because they loading up. But Cole, is there a direction? If you had to kind of forecast, what do you think Seattle was doing with this? I'm lost.
I think one of the biggest things is that and I'll tell you this right now. Hold on 1 second. I just want to check one thing before I say something inaccurate. Yeah, I think one of the things they wanted to do was they wanted to go younger with Geno Smith than Geno Smith, because I think Darnold's only 28, somewhere around there. Geno Smith is 34. I also think Geno wanted a little bit more money, a couple million more. So I think they're doing the right thing, because I think you're still getting a comparable quarterback. I don't think Darnold is better than Geno, but I don't think Geno is
that much better.
Right. And I could also see them getting that third round draft pick back to draft something to strengthen their team. And there's still room for them to go after a Diggs or go after a Amari Cooper or one of those receivers that could be a second or third option on their team. So I like it. I'm not opposed to it because they weren't trying to pay Geno and they got younger. So you can't beat that, getting younger.
Right. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I didn't realize the guy was 34. My goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just thought Geno. It felt like the team was behind him as well, and I felt like if they tweaked a couple of things on defense and offense, that they still had a chance, because over there it's just about getting out of the division. And I thought they could contend.
It might take Darnold some time
right
in that locker room too. Like
right. I just don't think. I mean, I get it, because it's not that far. It's like what Cole said, is they don't fall far from what Geno's talent level is with Darnold. I just don't know. I don't know what the framework is in Seattle. But they did get younger, to Cole's point. I didn't think about that. They did get younger, and it makes sense. If you're going to move away from Geno Smith and you can't get a prime time player. And maybe even Fields was on their radar, and Fields just ended up we'll talk about that later, with the Jets. I could see if they went after Darnold, why wouldn't they not go after Fields?
That's the part that surprised me with the Pittsburgh Steelers, is that I thought they should have went after Darnold, who's a better passer at this point in his career, or even tried to trade for Geno at the same time that they traded DK.
Both of them, right?
That would have been perfect for them.
Right. But maybe I feel like Pittsburgh is. I think they got some more things up there. I think
they're going to draft a quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, and here's the thing: credit to Pittsburgh. I mean, they've got to have confidence in Tomlin. I mean, they made the playoffs with. Remember that year they had game managers not too long ago. Mason Rudolph. So I don't think they really worried about a big time quarterback. That's why I could see them sticking with Russ, because they have always figured out ways to get to the playoffs. Now the question is Metcalf can get them past the second round. I mean, they're probably going to limp out of that AFC North, because that's going to be a competitive division. I think Cincinnati's going to be competitive. I think even Cleveland, if they get the quarterback situation correct, and that's one of the trades we're going to talk about.
I'm surprised that Tomlin and none of these guys ever looked at Jimmy Garoppolo, man, who just signed today. But But like, why didn't someone go after Jimmy who's been to the Super Bowl, who's been consistent?
He's
no, but seriously,
what is it about the Bartolo for? You got the San Francisco fans.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Can you ask him that on air? What is it? What is it?
Because
he's yet to explain that to me about Garoppolo. I don't see what he sees. Like, I'm so lost when he talks about Jimmy Garoppolo.
Other than banging a couple porn stars, man, I don't know.
I don't know what he sees. I mean, even with Baker, at least Baker won a few. I mean, I don't know what he sees in Jimmy Garoppolo.
Tommy had better backups too. They got jobs too. Is my thing. It's like, I mean, if you want to base the lightning rod on success, was successful quarterbacks but during the Brady tenure. Yeah, he comes to mind pretty high. But
San Fran.
He went to the bowl with San Fran, but he didn't really guide them to the.
I mean, I don't understand what he sees in Garoppolo. I just don't get it. I don't understand what he sees in Garoppolo.
It's a game, man.
It's the same thing with golf. Like, golf isn't like overwhelmingly nice, but some people just win. I'm not saying that he's a franchise quarterback. I'm just saying there's quarterbacks out there to me that I still feel like bring more value to them.
And we've seen it done with Brad Johnson. We've seen it done with Trent Dilfer. We've seen it
but the thing about Jimmy is, I mean, let's just keep it real. I mean, we'll go to fantasy after this, but I mean, he was in a well-oiled machine. I mean, yeah, we can give him credit.
I guess for the job since then. That's the thing. He took his one audition and then moved along and it got 2 or 3 really just starting Broadway positions that he wasn't productive in. He's basically Deshaun Watson without the injuries, to be honest.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing too. Is like you have one of the best offensive minds in Shanahan. Okay. You had Christian McCaffrey, who was healthy, had an all-pro season. You had Debo had an all-pro season. You had a stout defense. And I give him credit for that. To Cole's point, he didn't turn the ball over. He didn't let them lose, if that makes sense. Garoppolo, he never did. He didn't let them lose. But I can't see why. I'm so lost. Why though? Why does he deserve? Like, why would he even be named in Seattle?
He doesn't.
And they don't have much around him.
Just like we've been telling the homie, look, if Deshaun Watson don't get them looks, Jimmy G probably don't deserve them looks either.
Exactly. I mean, I don't get why Cole keeps, like, I don't know. Can you explain to us before we go to fantasy? Because I want to give you a chance. Like, what is it about Garoppolo that makes you think that he can? I just don't see it. Can you explain to us, please?
I just think he's been to the playoffs. You want someone, if you have a veteran team like Pittsburgh, where you have Minkah Fitzpatrick, you have Watt, you have a whole bunch of people that towards the end of their career in their players, but you want someone who's been consistently a solid quarterback when put on a good team. Like, he doesn't lose you the game. Like, he's not a person that's going to come in there and you got to worry about him throwing 5 or 6 or 7 interceptions. In fact, I trust him more than I trust Darnold, more than I trust certain other quarterbacks.
Okay, let me rewind. Are you talking about Pittsburgh looking at Garoppolo or Seattle?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I was talking about like someone like a Pittsburgh team. Like, if you're looking for a quarterback who runs a great play action, someone who's accurate, someone who throws has a record of playing on good teams and being competitive and taking his team to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I don't think I can give him credit for that. I mean, you might as well keep Russ if you're gonna give Garoppolo the start,
because it's got a lot to do with the identity too. Because it's like, I don't think he has the Pittsburgh identity.
Exactly,
he's not hard nosed. He doesn't have it. I just don't quite see.
I don't think he's a Pittsburgh guy. I mean, now as a backup, yeah, but I mean,
I just got sold on.
All right, Garoppolo starting for the Pittsburgh Steelers, going against the Ravens, going against Cincinnati.
I'm not sold on Russ anymore, and I'm not really sold on Aaron Rodgers after watching him for a whole year. And I feel like they're about to get paid for what?
Okay, but thank you for that.
Okay, I mean, I get that, but I mean, that's an easy comparison. You could, I mean, that's really a weak debate. I mean, you could use that. I mean, everybody could say that. Everybody could say that about Rodgers. I still think Russ has some in the tank because he had a couple of 200, 300-yard games this year. It's just that we can't just sit here and say that 5-game losing streak at the end of the season was all Russ's fault. That team came apart. And as much as I love Mike Tomlin, he probably deserves some criticism for that. You know, you lose 5 straight games. It can't just be the quarterback. But I mean, I hear you, Cole. It's not a out of the park point. I just don't think Russ is that bad. Now, Rodgers, that's debatable.
That's like saying if they crumb up on Flacco, okay, maybe they got a good little stopgap, and it's like, nah, Flacco playing better ball than like anybody.
Right,
kind of
right.
like
play better than Rodgers. Like I would have took Flacco over Rodgers last year.
Big facts.
Yeah, but me on the same token, and we'll get to fantasy. I would take Flacco over Jimmy.
I would too. I would too, though.
Oh, okay, all right. But I mean, I don't know. All right, let's get to these fantasy picks. Let's go, Chuck, and then we'll get back into it. We'll talk a little bit more about these NFL trades because we got a lot more to talk about. But for everybody that's tuning in, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. What we got for the night, Chuck?
Man, we're gonna hop on some shout out to Prize Picks for the opportunity to invest a few dollars and gamble and make some money. We're gonna rock with the NBA tonight. Home team. We got Rockets versus Memphis.
Ooh, I like this.
We got Rockets versus Memphis. And so what I need from Prize Picks, man, I need y'all to come up with 6 players, right? 3 from the Rockets, 3 from the Grizz, preferably. And so with that,
it's probably easier to
let's
pick
start with Jalen Green.
You want to start with the Rockets?
Yeah, let's start with Jalen Green.
Okay, they did us dirty the last time we was talking about Green and the Rockets. What they got?
They did do us dirty last time.
Yeah, remember they did us dirty. They did us real dirty.
All right, so with Jalen Green, we got higher lower on 22 points.
Memphis
Versus, and this is hold on, and I made a mistake. I said versus Memphis. They playing Orlando.
Oh, that makes it
Magic.
better.
They're playing Orlando.
Okay.
higher than 23.
Higher than 23.
Higher than 23.
Who's guarding? Caldwell Pope, Black.
He should get more than that against the Magic, Cole.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll go with consensus.
He should get more than that. I mean, if he don't, then everything y'all been saying about him and your boy is out the window. All right. He can't get more than 22 points on Orlando.
Magic, man.
Yeah, and I like Orlando.
So what y'all think about LP Şengün?
What they saying about him?
Man, so I like him with more than 20 points.
He should.
Yeah, he been putting up almost 30.
Yeah.
He been putting up almost 40 with the points, rebounds, and assists for the last 5-6 games.
Man.
I want to do that. Y'all want to do points, rebounds, and assists with him?
And y'all, I ain't sold on him like y'all are.
Well, you know what? He
I'm
is a good
getting
passer.
it.
I think that 36 on the PRA, that might be good money.
Is that the combination?
Yeah, that's the points, rebounds, and assists.
See, but is he gonna have to do that much for them to beat Orlando? Orlando
Got Bonchero and Wagner.
Is it Pablo or Paola?
And he's starting to get his rhythm back.
See, that might be tough. But they're not gonna put him. They're not gonna put Saquon on
That's what I'm
him.
saying.
Yeah,
Them problems for who? Dylan Brooks. And Jabari Smith, and I think Amen is out.
So yeah, man, I sure hate to see him go down the other day.
Well, then that might be even more encouraging that he will do it because he's gonna have to probably give a little bit more production since Amen is out.
36 on the PRA. That's just a lot. Like I said, I've seen him pass the ball well. I've seen him score the ball well.
That is a lot,
I've seen him rebound the ball
mediocre.
I'm not gonna say
last
rebound
game
well.
against the Pelicans, he had 31 on the PRA. Mm-hmm. Before that, he had 36. Before that, he had 41. Before that, he had 45.
So you calling that a streak?
No,
sure.
I mean I can rock with it. Okay, I was skeptical because of that, but no, that makes a lot of sense.
Go under with it. Go under with it.
So you think it's under?
I think it's under.
I mean,
he'll probably get like 32 or 33.
Can you tell us why, Cole?
Huh?
Can you tell us why? Why you think this?
Look at his numbers. Go back to his numbers. His last few games. He had 31, 36, 41, 45, 23. I think he's somewhere like the 33 area.
Yeah,
I don't think he'll get 36.
The average for the last 5 games is 35.2.
I think this is a different matchup for them, though. I think Wendell is a solid defender, And I think that, if they end up playing small ball with Banchero, I think he could get in foul trouble.
But are they going to put him on Blanchero?
If he ends up playing the 4 or the 5, he's going to have to put him on Banchero.
I don't think so. I don't think they're going to put him on. If they do that, then Udoka is not the coach I thought he was. I don't.
Y'all want to go on the over?
I don't like over it.
I think that's what I said. I think he's going to get 33 or 34.
I just don't think he's going to have to do that much for them to beat Orlando.
But again, A-Man is out, though.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go under on the PRA. I need one more player. Yeah, I'm going to consensus.
All right.
And y'all think y'all brought up Brooks.
Dylan Brooks. Now, see, this nigga went off the other day.
See,
man. I
don't like A-Man was playing because I don't want to deal with him on the offense.
So why don't we choose some Orlando players then?
Well, so we're going to get 3 Orlando players as well.
Okay.
So we got Dylan. Who else? Who else is doing consistent? I'm not sold on Dylan.
So I like Dylan on the 2 3-pointers.
Yeah, I like that.
He's been hitting 5 of them for every game.
7 of them last night.
Yeah.
Either that or a steal. Put him for a steal too.
I'm gonna take the Green Goblin on the 3-pointers because if we look at the stats.
All right, man. Y'all said 2. He should be able to get 2.
He had 7 last game. He had 1 before that, then 2, then 5.
No, look. Now, be mindful though that he is matched up with either Franz or Paolo. Yeah. Now that's a big matchup, and Dylan kind of undersized. He a dog.
I like the steals. I would take him for the steal.
Who else is available then?
I mean, we can pick anybody from the team. I just chose Brooks. You want Van Fleet not playing?
No, I guess Brooks is the
Jabari. Yeah, that's what I want with Brooks.
Consistent player. Okay, all right.
And so, but you think about the steals?
I think he's gonna get 1. He's always mixing it up.
I think he'll come up with a loose ball. He'll get a steal. I'm inclined to agree with that, just because he wanted him to do.
He averages 1 steal.
Oh, he averages a
for
steal
the last 5 games. 1 last game, none the game before that, 1 the game before that.
See, I know we didn't hoop with him. He like one of them brothers that played football all summer, and then it's like he finally come out and he get to work out with everybody, and he be playing hard. And he can't really hoop, but his effort is remarkable. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
that's why I want to stay away from him on offense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A steal is
maybe
money.
We go with Cole. Say
a steal is money,
right?
Like, but a couple of trades, I don't know. I don't even like the guy's form.
Yeah,
shooting the ball. I mean, it's like
and maybe
we hitting them, but
maybe we go with Cole on the steal because that's probably more sure for him. It's him on the steal.
All right, so I went for 1 on the steal. Let's look at the Magic. All right.
I think we got to go Pablo right first. What do they got for him?
Probably 24, probably.
So they got him at 19 points, 20 points.
Oh, he'll get that.
He got to get that.
He
got to get that.
He'll get a dub. I'm saying to 24, 25, I'm gonna scare me because I'm like, nah, we going lower than that.
Yeah, but a dub, he'll give
us a dub.
How y'all feeling about KCP?
Not at all. What with a steal?
What about Wagner? What the guy have him get?
No fries, man.
We talking about
Rose say a steal?
Yeah. Like, man, let's go with fouls.
Franz.
Shit.
Franz Wagner. Hey,
shit.
Y'all see it, ladies and gentlemen? Y'all see how quick called the bump? Did you go with steal? Well, I mean,
okay, so with Franz Wagner, right? See, he played forward. Do y'all think he good for a block?
No.
Nah. I'm talking about offense.
No.
What about his offense numbers?
24 points.
I like it.
You like 24?
I like it, yo.
24. I like 24.
That's a bad white boy, yo.
I like 24 out of Franz.
24?
I watched Franz and his brother Mo, man, at Michigan, man. Seemed like
no, I'm not doubting it, but I'm just saying I would be a little bit more 20.
He's got more range than Paul. They're gonna have to.
But he can shoot it. He can shoot it.
So he averaged 23.
And a man is out.
And a man is out.
Okay, all right, okay, yeah.
So y'all okay?
I'm good with that. Yeah, I just thought about a man because you could put Dylan on one of them and put a man, but a man is out. So yeah, I'm with that.
Right, so we need one more player from Orlando. You like Cole Anthony?
Yeah. Is he starting anymore?
Not consistent, man. Who else they got?
Anthony Black. Y'all don't want to rock with KCP.
Them boys barren.
They are barren.
Wendell, y'all don't even know half these niggas. Wendell Carter.
I'll take it for a 3.
boards. He'll give him 7 boards.
Carter?
7 boards.
Mhm.
And what you said,
Yeah.
Carter?
I'd take them either for the 7 boards or the 3, either one.
For the 8 rebounds, because it's 7.5, so we got to
I
round
like
up.
that. I like
8
that.
boards,
I like that.
or the 1 3-point.
Check his stats for the boards and the 3-pointers the last 2 games.
So he averaged 7.6 boards
That
for
might
the
be the
last
safe.
5 games.
That might be the safest one. That rebound.
But the last 3, they've all been under 7.
Are y'all a strong rebounding team?
We are, but we as of late, we've kind of been underachieving.
How many threes is he hitting a game?
He hit 2 the other day, 1 a couple times.
Yeah, he don't even average 1 a game.
Yeah.
I think we go on the rebounds.
Yeah, because we don't really know their roster like that, do we?
You gonna go under?
We can go under on his rebounds.
See, I think we're gonna do less than 7.5 rebounds.
All right.
That's if y'all have a good rebounding team, I'll go under. If y'all don't have a good rebounding team, I say we go over.
Well, I could probably under is probably the safest thing. I just like how my man
All right,
wrote.
man. Well, look, shout out to Prize Picks for the opportunity. If y'all checking us out right now live with us, or y'all catch this later on your feed, man, scan the QR code on the screen, tap in with us on Prize Picks, and let's try to win some money together.
All right, let's talk about it, man. Shout out to Prize Pick, man. Prize Picks. Let's get into it, man. We got a lot to talk about these NFL trades. We may not get to all of them tonight, but we will try to get to the ones that we think are most significant. All right, let's talk about this, man. I mean, we already talked about Geno. He's going to Vegas for a 2025 third round pick. Let's talk about that, because now Pete Carroll is over there. I think Max Crosby just signed a contract extension.
Mm-hmm.
So are the Raiders on to something with this signing? Let's start with you, Cole. How do you feel about Geno going to the Raiders?
I love it because I watched a few of their games last year, and they're actually competitive. I actually thought they played the Chiefs pretty good, a couple other teams in the division pretty good. I just felt like they just had horrible quarterback play. Great defense. Jacoby Myers is probably one of the most underrated receivers in the league. And they got Brock Bowers, who is probably top 5 tight end.
Right. He doesn't get enough credit. I agree with you on Bowers.
And I think Pete Carroll as a coach is to me, I just love his coaching. I think that with a good draft, I think they could be solid. And they got the number 6 pick. So depending on which way they want to go, they could draft that kid from Arizona, that receiver. They can, draft for, a corner. There's a lot of different options that they have. So I personally think that they'll be all right.
Best case scenario, do they make the playoffs out of the AFC West? Remember, you got Kansas City, San Diego.
The AFC period is hard because, damn, Denver's good, Buffalo's good, Chiefs is good.
But I'm talking about the West.
No, I'm just saying, like I can't really call it out.
Because you got Kansas City, you got San Diego, and then you got
and you got them Chargers to do.
Chargers, yeah.
I can't see all 4 teams going.
Just throw this out there. Just throw this out there for the sake of convo. With the Raiders grabbing Geno, how do y'all feel about all of the hoopla with them looking at Shador?
I actually like it. I think Shador could come off the bench for a couple years or a year.
I think he could also groom Shador a little. Yeah. I mean, they I go as far as to say they have a similar skill set. Man.
They do.
Like they really remind me a lot of each other. Like when since Geno has turned the corner and been playing good ball, he reminds me a lot of what I saw Shador doing in Colorado.
Because let's be honest, the strength of both of them is that they're not explosive quarterbacks physically, but what Geno does is, and it's a lot. We talked about that. That's a great point, Ro. A lot what Geno does is he doesn't turn the ball over. He has great game management skills, similar to Shador. And Shador may be a little bit higher on that scale in terms of that. He may be Geno 3.0. We don't know.
This might be
but that might be able to do that. And here's the thing. Now, we know that Geno, based on what he's shown us, he can make the adjustment to a Pete Carroll system, which is still depending on who else they pick up, what does that look like offensively? But I think Shedeur Sanders, I think he'd be good in the Pete Carroll system. Maybe y'all are on to something with that because, Pete Carroll in the past, if you look at Matt Leinart, and I know it's at USC, that may not be a good example.
No, that's a great example.
He
won the Heisman under Pete Carroll.
He did.
He was nothing.
He wasn't super athletic.
A less than stellar game manager. And it was one of the greater robberies of sports, but he did get the trophy. So hey, I can't knock what Pete Carroll got going on.
Now, all right. On top of that, Raiders let Davante Adams go. Okay. No, that's been done. I'm sorry. He was with the Jets. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm thinking about him in the Raiders because he was there for a while. Oh man. So with the Raiders, best case scenario, Cole, they draft Shedeur. They get the receiver that you talked about coming out of the draft. They stay healthy. They've signed Crosby to that deal. Crosby's got a pretty handy deal, which I think he deserved. Could they sneak a wild card in? I know you say the AFC is stacked, but if everything is going all cylinders, what we think could happen in Vegas, could they sneak a wild card?
I say yes because you look at Commanders, they came out of nowhere to be a winning team. And I think the NFL is built like that. You could change your team in 1 year. So I think it's possible. Do I think it's going to happen?
Probably not.
I think they could even end up being a 10-7 team or even 11-6 and still
not go. Yeah,
right. So, and that division is more competitive than what we think. All right. Let's talk about, since we're talking about the Raiders, let's talk about Davante Adams. He's going to be a Ram now. First of all, I didn't foresee him going to the Rams.
I didn't either. I'm happy for the guy. Think about it. He really took the Russell Wilson road,
right?
Following the bait, cutting bait on Las Vegas. Because Las Vegas would have been extremely menacing had he rolled that thing out and still been there.
Right, and that's why I'm pointing to the Rams. I'm like, and the Rams overachieved to me last year.
His success, I'll go ahead and just go out on a limb and say it's going to be limited. This is his swan song because they already stacked with Puka and
that was going to be my next question. What is his role going to be over there?
He's going to be the number 2 receiver. They're about to let go of Cooper. If they don't make a trade, they're going to let him go.
So you think Cooper is absolutely out?
They already said it. They're allowing him to look for a trade, and if it doesn't work out, they're going to cut him.
You see, my thing is he even a number 2 on the depth chart anymore?
That's what I'm saying. That's my question.
I think that maybe
does he still have enough in the tank, Cole? And here's the thing.
I was thinking that was going to be my comment when you asked me. I personally don't think that he's a number. He's definitely not a number 1 no more.
No, that's what I'm saying, right?
Can he be the number 2 with Puka? I think he can, because I think when he was playing with Garrett Wilson, he did show flashes of having a little something, but his separation ain't there anymore.
Well, here's the thing. It's not like he aged in New York, so maybe he still got some good production left.
But he playing with Stafford, so I can see him.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. But who's the quarterback over? Is it Stafford?
Stafford.
Can Stafford still get the ball to him?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. There ain't no knock on Stafford. It's just I don't think it's enough ball to go around out there, man. I really don't. And
they've had success.
Even with Cup gone. Because the thing is, Puka gets 13, 14 catches if you got to. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got no problem keeping his production up.
They got Von Jefferson, too. He all right, too.
And are they a pass-first offense with the Rams?
Yeah, they had a running back that kind of emerged as decent and solid to keep folks honest. But, yeah, they definitely gunning.
Yeah. And not just that, they got one of the best play callers in the league. So I personally think he'll be fine with McVay. He's calling the plays. He's like, it's him, the dude in Green Bay, and freaking what's his name that calls games better than anybody.
Evidently the Rams think that he still has something left in the tank. I'm happy for him because he needed to get out of New York based on what happened. But then to your point, Ro, it's like, man, if he would have stuck out, nobody could see what was going to happen in Vegas.
Better.
You know what I'm saying?
He should have seen that his partner was washed up.
Right,
and
right,
not to follow
right.
him to New York.
Right. And here's the thing, like, he might have even stayed in New York because Fields might do something over there.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Well,
I think he was afraid of that because he would have been exposed for sure. That wouldn't have gotten Clecking, and like you said, it would have been disguised behind the fact that Fields is a dual threat guy,
right?
And his touches would have been down, so he would have had a sticking point to argue, like, "Well, look, they're not getting me the ball." And like, "Nah, nigga, you washed."
Right. I mean, I guess that's the question, man. Maybe Cole is right. Like, maybe he can be a number 2 receiver.
In the right room for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those moves where it's like it's not a bad move, but it's not a team chemistry changing move.
There you go.
But I will say this:
where he could be the number 1 receiver.
Well, I just don't know. I have to agree. I have to agree with Cole. I don't see what I saw from him in years. I mean, I feel like was it Las Vegas or was it Oakland at the time? I think they wasted a lot of years of him. I don't see.
Just like Cole said, he's the only. I mean, that's the only reason I even know about Jacoby Myers. He looked productive at times, in Las Vegas. You know,
right?
He was there,
right, and those were probably his best years.
And he's been quietly a super diva out there. He missed the bitch about everything but a Taco Bell commercial, man.
Right.
I think what separates him now from being a bum or a bust, and then why I think he can still be a number 2 is because he's such a great route runner. Runners, when you can run routes, you know, you're always going to find a way to get open. He's still probably top 3, top 4 running routes.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If we weren't so stacked down here,
we could use him
to offset. I mean, is Diggs going to be our number 1 receiver when he comes back?
He can't be your number 1. You already have your number 1.
Got to be Nico.
Nico is to me the top 3 receivers in the league.
Be Nico, you know what I'm saying?
But we paid Diggs for that. Now, Nick, the way I feel, and I see what y'all saying, based on the production that Collins has shown us, but we paid Diggs to come down here and be number 1, and Nico was to benefit from that.
He would.
You know what I'm saying? Because regardless of how we feel about Nico, and I think Nico's one of the top receivers in the league. I think he's proven that. But when Diggs comes back, because here's the thing about Nico now, you're on everybody's radar. Okay. So now we got to make a decision. Are we going to put our best corner on Diggs? Or are we going to put our best corner on you because you've had the Pro Bowl season? You see what I'm saying? So does his production go down? That still remains to be seen. But if Adams is in the mindset of I need to win a ring, kind of like when D-Hop went to Kansas City, I would love to have him down here as a second, third option. If his mindset is like
even to be a voice in the locker room
to
the young guys. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because go ahead, Cole.
You know what receiver that's an old receiver that I still think is a number 1 receiver is my man that's in Chicago that's a free agent, Allen. Now, that's the type of dude I would love to see with your man, Stroud.
Right. But again, though, Allen is the type of where he's probably going to demand a big contract because he is a number 1 guy. We got Diggs and Collins. You know what I'm saying? It all depends on if Allen would be. That's the thing. Would he be if it came up, and it may not come up because receivers are divas by position. Mm-hmm. Would he take, Collins has a case for being a number 1 receiver. Diggs has a case based on even what went on in Buffalo, even though he got hurt. We paid Diggs to come down here and be a number 1 receiver. Can you squeeze a guy like Allen in and say, hey, man, you may not get, it all comes down to the price of winning because you're not going to get the balls that you got in Chicago down here in Houston. We just got too many guys.
Now you got Christian Kirk too.
Yeah, exactly.
Kirk from
so I don't know, man. It all depends on the mindset. Now, I think with Adams, if Adams accepts that he's in the sunset of his career, I definitely think he could help somebody like Houston, and maybe even in with the Rams. You know what I'm saying? If he's realistic about what he is, and we all agree on this panel that he's not a number 1 receiver anymore, then yes, he probably can fit anywhere. Adam, you know what I'm saying? But we'll see, man. I don't know. I'm just not sure about the Rams.
It's like rewind. They did the same thing with Odell, but Odell was much
exactly
more explosive. You know,
exactly,
one,
and that experiment didn't work.
Well, it did. They won it. They won it that year.
But can you point it to Odell? Did he contribute?
His
really?
first half was outstanding. His first half was incredible.
Man, I think that was a failed experiment in LA, but they won.
They won.
They did win.
They won.
They did win. I can't take that away. All right, let's talk.
And that's what he made the catch. The one hand.
No, that was New York.
Yeah, that was in New York.
That was in New York. Yeah, that was New York.
That first half, though, that boy might have scored 2 or 3 times.
All right, let's talk about this because I thought, and I'm happy for Cleveland because I thought they were going to let this guy get out of town, and shame on them if they did, but. The Cleveland Browns have signed Myles Garrett to a $40 million extension. Now, Cole, you may do a check on that or Chuck do a check on that. I don't know how many years it is, but it's a $40 million extension with the Cleveland Browns, which makes him the highest paid non-quarterback NFL contract in history, just days after Max Crosby set his with the Vegas Raiders. I'm happy for Cleveland. Because I thought Cleveland was going to do what they always do and find a way to self-destruct. I feel like you cannot let this guy out of town simply because of the athleticism, and he has been productive. Now, Cole, I know when you put on your GM hat, you might be against that because I know you feel like certain players can be replaced by position. However, I think the Browns did the right thing. I think
4 year, $40 million.
4 year, $40 million, 4 year, $40 million extension.
123 million in guarantees, 40 million a year.
Okay.
Yeah, 40 million per year. 120,
okay.
122.8 guaranteed.
And I think if you're going, Ro, it's a lot.
No, he's worth that.
But he's worth it. Yeah,
he's worth.
He's got a defensive player of the year too, I think.
The only,
and he stays healthy.
Exactly plays hard, plays every down. He's a 4-down guy. The only thing I feel sorry for him at the end of the day. He's getting his money, but he's got to stay in Cleveland. Cleveland is brown for a reason. That organization is poo, apparently. That organization is doo-doo brown.
That's the thing. Right?
That's just what it is.
Right.
Doo-doo brown out there. And it's like for him to force his way out, he forced his deal, which is commendable as well. I'm definitely not knocking the hustle. I'm not saying he's not worth the money. That's what he should have been trying to do.
Right.
But fuck, what they gonna do? They gonna make him play quarterback? He might as well play quarterback too, because them niggas got problems everywhere.
Well, and that's and
they're devoid of talents, and that's the thing, because it's like it's so top heavy on his shoulders. It's like I can't name one other player on that defense.
Well, I hope, and I hope they're at least competent enough as an NFL organization, and I stress that too. If I'm him and I was forcing my way out, and I'm not putting this responsibility on him as a player, but I would hope he would say, in order for y'all to keep me, I need to see what's going on. Mm-hmm. I need to see if it's some plans. I hope he would do that. I hope he just wouldn't stay there for the money because I'm not saying
partners, I know some people from A&M.
Right. And I'm not saying he would get that money. I'm not saying he would get that money with somebody else. But I hope he would at least say, other than the money, why would I stay here? We ain't won nothing. We in a tough division.
Unfortunately, we've seen this before. And a fella by the name of, he just re-signed too, as a matter of fact, a fella out there in LA by the name of Khalil Mack. We saw this tape before. You know what I'm saying? The same thing before. He wasted a bunch of time and broke the bank in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Made his name. Went on out there to the West Coast, did the same, still making decent enough money. He just recently re-signed again, but he's been MIA for the last couple of seasons. Mm-hmm. So, after a while, he's gonna realize, look, man, what's all this effort for? What am I using all these gifts for? When it's like, look, you want me to get innocent, you want me to play corner, you want me to be an edge rusher, you want me to play middle line.
Well, and credit to them, they threw a lot of money to keep him in town. I just hope they have a plan because. Another reason why I would say Cleveland would do this is because, with these type of guys, and this is how it ends up happening. He'll go to somebody in the division
and win immediately.
Exactly,
and win immediately.
Like I could see Pittsburgh.
It's very.
I could see Baltimore saying, "Y'all gonna let him go?" And they put an offer out there Baltimore he is a Baltimore guy,
Oh my God.
athletic.
Right. They could offer him. Baltimore could offer him half of that,
And they would clear their defense for somebody like that,
and then win.
And Harbaugh, that he fits their culture, so they might have done that to keep him from going over there. Because it's like, and the thing is, if you let him walk from Cleveland, then here's the thing: you're already a cursed franchise as it is. And credit to Cole, as much as I don't want to agree with him, I'm not a hater, but the Deshaun Watson experiment failed. So it's like if you let Garrett walk out of town, what do you
on
have?
the tail end of the Watson deal? It's like, man, that's GM suicide.
Exactly.
Like, GM
and
suicide.
so, and the Watson deal might even look bad now because you still got to pay a boatload of that money. Now you paying him. Do you have any room for any more superstars? So I don't know, man. I think Cleveland got that right, but I'm hoping that they got something coming behind it. All right, Eagles rewarded Saquon Barkley with a 2-year, $41 million contract extension that makes him the highest paid running back in NFL history. Did the Eagles do the right thing, Ro?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't even know this dude was Iran Barkley, the champ, was his uncle.
I didn't know that either.
I didn't know
the
that,
boxing
man.
dude.
Yeah, like dude came up boxing. It's like, man, yeah, he impresses me more and more by the day. The Eagles are still reaping the reward of how big a splash a free agent acquisition can be. They did diligence by go ahead and rewarding that particular effort.
Right.
And hey, I think that's the paradigm. From here on out, this is like Dallas in the 90s. It's like everybody gonna try to build O-line like that.
Right.
Everybody gonna try to get a back with versatility like that to do their thing. And yeah, I think they did what they had to do.
Cole, you agree with the move by the Eagles?
No, I definitely agree with Arrow. I think it's he's the best running back in the game outside of Henry, and he's probably better than Henry because he's more versatile.
Yeah,
and I think it's also good for the league because I feel like a lot of these running backs that are about to come up are about to see, some good contracts because I think that position was devalued, and I don't know why it was devalued. But I think it was an excellent move.
I think it's an excellent move too, and I think it's a trendsetter in the sense that I've always been a big supporter of the multi-purpose back, and so I think it's good. I think if my running backs can do more, I think it gives our offense way more versatility than just and there's nothing wrong with what Derrick Henry does, but Saquon Barkley, shout out to him because as an organization, we just won a Super Bowl. I feel perfectly fine in the era where we're passing first, paying a multi-purpose back that kind of money, especially when he contributed the way Barkley did. Absolutely. So if he's not running the ball well in between the tackles, I can throw the ball out to him and get a screen. He's going to block. He can be a receiver for me. So I have no problem, especially the role he played with us, meaning the Philadelphia Eagles, in contributing to us winning the Super Bowl. So I have no problem with that. And shout out to Philadelphia. That is a great move. All right, let's talk about some more, man. We got a lot of things going on right now, but I think the Bills are re-signing Josh Allen, if I'm correct. They rewarded him. Now, let me get to it so I can pull it up. Josh has signed for
330.
Right.
330.
Okay.
With more guarantee money than,
let me see if I can find it. I had the details here. Josh Allen, and I don't have it. I do have it. He signed.
Here you go.
What you got?
Allen and the Bills agreed to a 6-year extension that will keep the superstar in Buffalo through the 2030 season. Allen is receiving $330 million contract that includes a record $250 million guaranteed. The deal makes Allen the league's highest paid player, quote unquote, from CBS Sports.
Okay. All right. So, okay. Now it's easy for us to look at. He's got that MVP this year. I think the only thing he hasn't done is kick down that AFC Championship door.
Never been to the bowl, never won one. Yeah.
And that's where I had questions. It's like you have to pay him. You're gonna have to overpay him. Him getting that MVP, I think, just solidified that big check. He's been great. He's been better this year. But the question comes, because I'm saying to myself, And there's different arguments behind this because some people say, well, if you paying Lamar that, has Lamar ever been to a Super Bowl? No. And the Ravens they're paying Lamar that. But he has not been to the Super Bowl. He's been close. But that's a lot of money, and I feel like you're gonna overpay for a quarterback anyway.
You are, and they're gonna continue to overpay for quarterback.
Right.
With that trend.
Right. And I think you have to pay him that. I'm a little bit skeptical because at the end of the day, he has not gotten me to the Super Bowl, but he's done everything other than that. And this year I felt like he really put the organization on his back. But I'm gonna ask the panel, are y'all okay? And I'll start with you, Ro. You okay with giving him that money, even though he has never got you to a Super Bowl?
Not me personally. Like I said, I don't set them kinds of examples. That's like my guy.
That's
what
why I went there first. Yeah.
I really appreciate your MVP trophy and you bringing the scrutiny and the eyes and the lights back, a little bit of spice back in Buffalo. But at the same time, we cannot continually reward mediocrity, and that's not mediocrity. Don't ever don't get twisted what I'm saying. Not mediocrity per se, but
he ain't.
If it was that easy and you only had to pay one guy, that'd be cool. But you don't. You got more people to worry about, and y'all made some what we thought initially were questionable decisions. Part with Diggs, part with this, that. Maybe y'all saw some on the X-ray that we didn't see. It's never quite any telling with these GMs and the way they get down. But as far as setting a precedent and continually running the numbers up like that, I mean, because I'm not hating on Josh Allen. I'm really high on Josh Allen. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But it's like, back to everything like we say. Y'all don't pay us like that. We got to earn that shit different.
Right.
I just be real. I put it out there. A whole lot more is required for us to garner that whole type of thing. And they're only willing to do it for somebody like, say, a Pat who's confused by who the hell he is anyway.
Right.
So it's like,
but to your point too, because that's what the naysayers said, and that's why I'm looking at it, because it's like, okay, what justifies that money? Because you haven't done anything differently as far as the team.
I look for them to regress. For them to regress.
You've gotten to the, like, all right, let's give him credit. He played better this year.
Shit, we beat them.
Right. But to the naysayers to this contract, and we'll get to you next, Cole, it's like, yeah, but at the end of the day, other than individual accolades, our team didn't do better. We got to the AFC Championship again.
I think it's bad negotiation. I think it was
right, because they played Kansas City in the AFC Championship this year, right? And they lost the same way that they last possession, same way. And so, to the naysayers to this reward, this contract, like you said, it's like we paying him extra money
because of the MVP vote.
Right.
That was the closest MVP vote it has ever been.
Right. It could have went either way, because people could say Lamar had the numbers, and he did. But the thing about it is, the naysayers to this contract is saying we have not gotten past the AFC Championship. Why is he getting all this money? And we are going to overpay for quarterbacks.
And we overdue for regression.
Right.
I mean, next is a big injury or something. It's just in this particular kind of year, you lowered the wagon to 2030.
Right.
It's like, you knew what you were doing when you went on sent Diggs out of there, because you went on brought Amari in there.
Right.
That's cool. You have a young, what's the kid's name? Shakir, who's the kid that was a decent receiver.
Yeah.
It was like you had a decent Keon, whatever. You have a decent enough, options around. But to do it like that, you just kind of I think you overcommit to a large degree.
And you put everything on Josh's shoulders.
Yeah.
And when you put everything on Josh's shoulders, and he's a great quarterback, I'm not saying it, but it's like, man, we back the truck up and dropped the money off to go to the AFC Championship for the last 3 years.
Once upon a time,
and we got rid of everybody.
There you go.
And put it on Josh. Right.
We cleaned house.
Right.
Cleaned house.
Right. Cole, what you think about that?
I think you have to. I think there's only a certain number of quarterbacks that can get you to the big game. And I think he's one of them. It's not his fault that he's losing to the person that everyone's lost to the last few years. Like the Jordan rules. Would you not sign Patrick Ewing back? Would you not sign Reggie Miller back? Would you not sign Isaiah Thomas back? All these people couldn't win championships if Jordan wasn't there. And it's one injury away from, what's his name, Mahomes being out for a season or being out a few games to it being wide open in the AFC. And I'd rather be wide open with the second or third or fourth best quarterback in the whole entire league. So I love it. I think it's well deserved. I think that he won the MVP. And there's only one champion every year. So
Yeah,
my thing
I see both sides.
Yeah, my thing is, I guess in light of that, you don't want to see him walk out the door. I don't know if they were in a position where somebody else was really going to swoop in and really make him a better deal.
They probably were going to pay him that.
But they were going to pay him somewhere in the neighborhood comparable of tops in the league regardless.
Right.
I just don't necessarily believe they should have made him the highest paid player.
I can understand
that seems like a little bit of,
I can understand,
cultural favoritism, we'll say.
Right.
I mean, he's very deserving of it. Of course, as are the rest of them. It's not an easy position. But, yeah, man, I think.
Yeah, and again, I'm just playing devil's advocate to Rose's point. It's like
Jalen ain't making nowhere near that money.
Exactly.
What I'm saying?
Exactly. And, some people would argue that they don't have the same skill set. I understand that. But again, it's just some people would say, we gave him all that money. And I'll say that, we gave him all that money and we keep having the same result as far as winning. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I could understand it, but I get what Cole is saying. I mean, he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league, so you're gonna overpay anyway. All right. Man, let's see. All right, we can't get to all of these, but let's talk about another important one, or one that's impactful. We talked about.
We could talk about us being dumb enough to let our tackle go.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna get to. So we let. I don't know though, man. I'm kind of on both.
Tunsil's bad,
but the Texans are trading left tackle Laramie Tunsil and a 4th round pick to the Commanders for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round picks. Now I'm mixed on this because here's the thing. Oh man, he's one of the best in the league, but being offsides drove me crazy. He had 1,000 penalties.
Man, in the most inopportune, crucial time.
So I could see us
back
being
to back
saying
offsides. It was like, bro, how you?
And it was
on the same drive,
and it wouldn't be but 2 or 3 a game, but it's a drive killer. And
but 3rd and 1 to 3rd and 6 is different, bro.
And why I'm kind of for it, Ro, is because you have been one of the best players in the league for a long time. You shouldn't be having those you still shouldn't be having it. You shouldn't be getting offsides.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
But he is one of the best. Now, here's the thing.
He's up there too, though. He's an older guy.
He is. But the thing about it is you just made Washington better with that quarterback.
Right. Considering they were.
So I'm still kind of mixed on it. But I understand them being frustrated with he just had too many penalties, man. Cole, what do you think? How do you feel about this trade?
I like it because I feel like the NFL, you can put a team together real quick. And I think that sometimes even losing is not as bad as you think. I think the Texans will be fine without Tunsil, and I think Tunsil will be good for the Commanders. And I don't think it'll put you in a worse position. I think what y'all need to figure out is just your receiver room. That's the part that concerns me, losing Tank Dell. And I think offensive line, I think y'all can draft. There's a couple good offensive linemen coming out this year. So
yeah, I think we'll be fine. I just think I see it from both ends. I think he's been one of the best left tackles in the league for the last 5 to 7 years. I mean, when we got him from Miami, he was one of the best, But it's just that I could understand from a management standpoint, we just had so many penalties.
And I don't like the O-line in flux like that. For it's like that's wasting CJ's max potential when you're shuffling his Ryan around.
Now that's going to be the question, like Cole said, can they replace him? Mm-hmm. Which they should be able to. Not as easy as I'm saying it, but I think I give credit to their offense, even though they struggled. I think they should be able to find something. But I don't think it's a bad trade. I understand why the Texans would want to move on, but I also would understand why wouldn't we keep him? You know what I'm saying? So I understand that. All right, let's talk about this. Let's go ahead and get to the Jets, Cole, because I really want to get the temperament of New York. Now, Justin Fields has reached an agreement to a 2-year, $40 million deal that includes $30 million guaranteed with the Jets. Let's talk about that, Cole. Let's talk about that move. And are there any other moves that need to go along with Fields? Obviously, there is. But on offense, what do they need to add or get rid of now that they got Fields? But first and foremost, Cole, do you like this deal? And what is the temperament like in New York for the Jets?
I like the deal because I feel like we ain't winning the championship anytime soon. I think you might catch what they call lightning in a bottle, because I do think Fields is 25. He still has
very.
I feel like he's on the trajectory. Like, I'm not gonna say trajectory. I will compare some of his college career, NFL career, to how they kind of treated Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
You know, I do see that they have a similar skill set. I think Jalen Hurts is slightly a better passer right now, with a great play caller on his side. I think where Justin Fields doesn't get credit for is he's played with horrible offensive lines, and he's played with a new offensive coordinator. I think
he's played with multiple coordinators, right?
Yeah, ever since he's been in the league. But he was his best years. He gave DJ Moore his best career years in catching yards, and he did the same thing for Cole Kmet. So, and that's something Caleb, the number one pick, didn't do for them last year, and their numbers dropped off last year. So I think he can pass, and I think that he showed he can handle the ball security portion of the game by making smart decisions. In Pittsburgh, he didn't make you lose the game. He did the right thing. So I think if they approach him, how they approach Jalen Hurts with some play action passes, some runs here and there, and can have a dominant run game, which we do have some great running backs. I think the Jets can win with some defense if we shore up our defense, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets sneak into the playoffs or compete for the playoffs. I don't expect them to win a playoff game, but I think they can compete.
I definitely think they can compete in the division. What I think Fields is capable of, I do. Ro, do you like that move?
No, I can't believe they didn't get rid of that team cancer, Garrett Wilson. I heard they were supposed to dump him off to the Texan wide receiver room or something like that. I think that they could have done a little bit better had they done something like that. But nah, it's like, I'm bullshitting. It's like they gonna light shit up. That shit was like really mad. I think it will improve Justin Fields' stats as a passer, to be honest. I think that a situation like that where he where he can augment the running game as well as develop his passing skill set, I think it would be a perfect situation. I think they got great shit on. I think they could sneak them on somebody tripping like us and win a playoff game.
And that's the thing. I think they automatically compete in the AFC East.
They could beat a weak division champ, like
right. Well, I mean, Buffalo is going to be there. They're probably going to win the division.
They can get it on the card.
We don't know what New England is going to be.
Stacked up,
Miami.
New England racked up today.
Yeah, but we still. They got rid of their coach. We don't know what they're going to be. Miami always has a talent, but they don't deliver. I think they're going to have to probably break that up pretty soon because they just had too much talent. They stay hurt, but they can compete in the AFC East. I think now. I think the Jets are right there. I think they have enough. I think they can sneak in with a wild card. The question is, Cole, and I think you said it, and if I missed it, I hope you don't mind repeating yourself. What else do they need to add on top of adding Fields in New York?
We haven't had a dominant tight end, and I can't remember. So the kid from Penn State, I think, would be a great option.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Kid from Notre Dame, I think, would be a great option for us. And the receiver from Arizona would be a great option for us. Or that kid from Ohio State that runs that the receiver that runs good routes. Yobia, I don't know how to say it. It begins with an E.
Got a funny name, yeah.
Yeah, but I think those four players are the players I would target, with the top two being the Arizona dude or the Penn State tight end.
Okay.
And if they want to get greedy, if Shador fell to number 6, I put him to sit on the bench for a year behind Justin Fields and see how Justin Fields do as security. If he does bad, then Shador can have a job.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Okay. All right. Ro, you got
Green back on him, man.
All right. Man. All right, let's talk about this. Chris Garvin is re-signing with the Bucs on a 3-year deal worth $66 million. Do we like the deal? I mean, he's coming back with Baker. I think they've already locked in Mike Evans, right? Correct.
For a little while.
Yeah.
Right. Rody, what do you think about this deal? Should they have done it? I mean, they're locking him down. Is that 20-something million a year for Garvin? Or I mean, it could be restructured.
Look, it's like Baker or not, that offense looked different with Godwin in it. You know what I'm saying? With Mike Evans, they were. I mean, they started off the season with damn near title after not only the division, but tied them and New Orleans. It was like that division was on fire. Everybody but Carolina.
Right.
But
and Atlanta's coming.
Yeah, Atlanta's still coming too.
Right,
Atlanta's nice with Penix.
Right.
You know
Penix
so it's
right.
like, yeah, man. No. What can you really say? What can you really say?
And I almost think it's unfair because it's like, go with me on this comparison. Even though it's not the same, but it's you can compare it if that makes sense. Tampa Bay, I mean, for them to be able to get Mike Evans and Chris Godwin to sign them both, you got to look at Cincinnati, and they probably are envious because Cincinnati is going through it with their 2 receivers. And they trying to find a way to lock down Higgins and Chase. But it's almost like Tampa Bay found a way to do it. And it's like
different. It's different. It's different because Godwin just came off a serious knee injury. He can't ask for that much. Had he not got injured, he was on a career path of killing it last year to where I think he would have said, hey, give me $20 million a year.
I mean, it is a good point. That's why I hesitated on bringing that up, but I still think Godwin has that ability. Now, you're right. He can't negotiate that because he was hurt. I know exactly what you're saying. But
it's like for Baker. It's like a nigga hate to see Baker getting rich for nothing. Just to be
exactly. Like I feel like because he got hurt, you make a good point, Cole. Because he got hurt, like Baker finna reap all the benefits because dog, if Godwin come back just a fraction of what he was, I mean they could be looking at the top 2 teams with the best 2 receivers.
What I'm saying. It's like
if Cincinnati can figure out a way to make that happen,
they make Joe Cool down there give the GM a night with his old
exactly. It's just I mean, to Cole's point, it's like Cincinnati is in the bind because both of those receivers have been playing at the top level, and Godwin has been hurt in Tampa Bay. But if Godwin can do what we know he can do, man, it's like damn, Baker is gonna be sitting with a fat, nice
spoil.
Right.
He had
whereas Joe got to sit there and politic in the off season, like, man, y'all need to get this done. And I don't think they're gonna be able to get that done in Cincinnati. I think somebody gonna want some money. If I'm Chase, I want that money.
They might be the single most inherently flawed organization that there is. You know what I'm saying? Some kind of way that curse run with Cincinnati
in Cleveland.
Yeah, well, Cincinnati, right on. I think Cleveland,
Ohio.
Well, you know what? I guess because Cincinnati has given,
they have been sort of cursed.
Think about it. Yeah, Cincinnati has gotten a little bit more as of late. They had that one surge, but outside of that, it's
because they did good in the '90s with Cyrus and Icky Woods. And then they flew off the radar. Then Carson Palmer went over there with Ocho and them. They had a little bit of a run with Ocho Cinco and them. Right. And then they would go to the second round of playoffs.
Corey Dillon.
Right.
Like
they go to second round and lose. And then when Joe Cool get there, they went to the Super Bowl.
And they remind me of teams like, not San Diego, LA, you know, them Chargers. It's like they always be loaded.
Right.
But shit don't ever quite work out.
Right.
And usually it's one reason or another.
And they always start off, and they got to fix this. They always start off late. They would have gotten the playoff this year, but they always start off 0-4, some shit like that.
Because they got to learn, and it was a game they was in. It was close games, you know what I'm saying?
But the thing about Cincinnati, and I think Tampa Bay can get to this point, if Baker Mayfield can be consistent. I know that sounds crazy me saying it, but the thing about Cincinnati that's what's so scary is they can beat Mahomes. Like Joe Cool has owned Mahomes to a certain extent. Yeah,
and they know that.
And so, but they just always start off late. You know what I'm saying? They can beat Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
They
but
can
they
beat
just
the Texans.
exactly they can
But
beat Cincinnati can beat anybody in that AFC on any given Sunday.
Yeah.
But they get start off to a rough start.
Shout out to Pac-Man Jones. They drafted him.
Yeah,
Pac-Man.
exactly. That is true, man. Adam Jones, aka Pac-Man, boy, that was my boy.
Pac-Man Jones.
But I think, and Cole, to your point about Baker, I ride him a lot, but I think they could be like a Cincinnati in the NFC South. I really think so, and I think they're getting lucky. They be able to sign both of these receivers. I think they sitting on a gold mine. If Godwin can stay healthy, Evans is pretty durable.
That offense is going.
I think they're going to be. I think they got a chance to be pretty good.
Put up numbers,
and as long as Baker don't turn the ball over, they'll be fine.
And they signed Hassan Reddick too.
Yeah, they just did sign the
right.
Was he on that Philadelphia team? He was somebody else.
He was on Philly, then he came to the Jets, and then he held out with us.
That's kind of a steal.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's kind of a steal. All right, man. Let's Chuck, you want to go to a commercial break? We can't get to all these signings. Or you want us to keep going?
Let's tap in one of our sponsors.
Okay, cool.
Men's Fragrance, your home for 100% authentic men's cologne. We carry high-end fragrances like Creed, YSL, Gucci, Polo, and more with below retail prices. All orders come with free shipping. Order online at mens-fragrance.net. Men's Fragrance. Smell good for less. Yo, rep the movement with Mo Serious Fashions. Copy your fresh snapback or hoodie or a tee, all representing the Mo City Podcast, Debate with Bake, or Gloves Up, Guns Down. Everything is custom made with love from our top-notch manufacturers. We got a dope range of colors and sizes to fit your vibe. Everything from blue, red, green, black, white, and more. Rep the Mo and keep it fresh, fam. Hit up moseries.com/merchandise and order today. Let's go.
Stop. It's COVID, flu, and RSV season. Boost your immune system now.
Fortress was developed to provide key ingredients that provide such aid to the body's immune mechanisms.
So how do I fight COVID, the flu, and RSV?
So our job isn't to defend ourselves from things, it's to help support our body's natural immune system to begin with. And when you look at Fortress, that's exactly what we're after. Individually sourced ingredients that have been demonstrated to support our natural immune system and help our bodies just do a good job at what they're naturally meant to do. And that's why Fortress is a very nice combination of these independently sourced ingredients that can help support a healthy immune system.
Learn more about Fortress and natural ways to boost your immune system by clicking the link.
All right, shout out to our sponsors, man. Shout out to Chuck. Go check those sponsors out and all those products that you just saw from anywhere from hats and gears and even those sponsors on moreserious.com, and make sure you go in there and shop and support local business, man. You know, that's one thing I like about Chuck and the Mo City Podcast and even Mo Serious and all the podcasters on Mo Serious is that we, as a label, we look to partner with the community. So shout out to that, and go check us out on moreserious.com. All right, let's get to it. We only really have, to me, and this is just my opinion, let's go to the association. We can say the throwback NFL topics for any time, but let's go to the association. I think the two biggest stories over the weekend, in my opinion, is first, number one, Jokic. Nikola got a 30 in 2020 game this past weekend, which is history setting. He joins the company of Russell Westbrook and Wilt Chamberlain. Now, let me ask y'all this. And this should be an easy question, but I think it's worth a debate. If in doubt that he was going to the Hall of Fame, does this game put him in the Hall of Fame? 30, 20, and 20. Let's start with you, Cole. If in doubt, because he has one championship, he has 3 MVPs. I thought he was in before this, but does this performance, because it's such a legendary performance, and I know we only talking about one performance, but it is monumental in terms of what he's doing. Could this be? Well, let me rephrase that. Maybe it's not so much this particular performance, but this is another thing that can get him in the Hall of Fame.
I think so. I think every single time you break a record or make a record or become part of history in some type of way, I think it advances your argument for the Hall of Fame. And I think he already had a strong career as it is. Like if he was to retire now, I think he's a Hall of Famer. But I think the question now is he one of the all-time greats? That's what it's starting to lead to. Now it ain't even a Hall of Fame for me now. Are you an all-time great? Are you a top center of all time, or a top, 3 center of all time, and so forth? And those are the things that I think about when it comes to him. So, but I think that does cement an argument when people want to debate things and be able to say, well, I done this, so.
Mm-hmm. Cole, quick question. Do you think this pushes Jokic in the MVP argument for this season? Or is it still SGA?
He's in there every
definitely
year.
In the MVP argument.
Yeah, he's in there.
Get it? Because I think sometimes it's all about
what the team is doing too.
It's not just what the team is doing, but I also think sometimes people get tired of the same old.
Right.
And I think
he could be MVP every year.
Voter fatigue, right?
Yeah, I think he could be MVP. He's one of those guys that, like Giannis for a long time,
like Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, they're gonna be in the conversation. It's like this year. It's a great example. Like numbers wise, they could have gave it to Lamar.
Yeah, this season,
right?
Even Joker,
right.
This season's numbers is better.
Right,
than
like
his
Joker's
MVP
been
season.
Still playing at a high level this season. It's just that what SGA is doing over there with that team in the climate that they're in, they're a small town market. They're running the West, okay? And many people think, I thought he should have won it last year. I thought Shea should have won it. But the fact how they're doing it in Oklahoma City, and he's the poster child, I think is, you could argue that in terms of, well, Oklahoma City is doing better than Denver, but you could put Joker in the MVP. Yeah. He's going to have numbers every year to be in that conversation.
Yeah, he's scoring whenever he wants to score too.
Exactly.
So you don't see someone putting up 40 and 30 like consistently, and like you play 30 games and then out of those 30, 25 of them were 30-point games. Like
exactly. Ro, what you think? Does this game put him in there?
Oh, absolutely. As if that's icing on the cake. I mean, it's a big pussy.
Just 20 and 20.
Yeah.
I'm used to him seeing 30, but 20 and 20, man, that's
a Herculean feat of a triple double. Like that's like complete dominance on any scale. I think the only singular problem and the reason that people even second guess it is because it's so visually underwhelming. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not athletic, because it's very technique oriented, because it's just nobody slap bucket, it's like
Tim Duncan.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And he might even be better than Tim because he's throwing more jumpers in there.
So arguably, like I said, I done lost this before and got my feelings hurt simply for sleeping on the greatness that is playing in my face. That's it. Like I said, it's only an argument of where he stacks up exactly, if you even care to debate that. He's one of the top 3.
Let's go to that now. Now, let's go into the dangerous realm, and this is definitely going to be subjective. Where does he rank as far as the centers now? Who do we put ahead of him? Is there anybody? Is there anybody? We talking about the greatest centers of all time.
You know what? In my own
current playing centers?
No. Because like Cole said,
GOAT centers.
Like Cole said, I think it's time for us to put him in that discussion now. All-time centers.
In my own personal opinion and appraisal of it, like I said, regardless of statistics and the way it goes, I give you my top 3. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I want. Right.
That's Dream, that's Shaq, and then that's Joker right there, with Shaq and Joker being interchangeable because Joker ain't done. Because I factor that against the fact that Joker's doing it right now in a manner in which I wasn't taught and even brought up to believe it could be done. I've never seen a center
kind of trend setting.
This kind of production. You feel me? It's like, and it's not it's manufactured. It's almost automatic. Is the scary part about it.
So he's past Kareem for you.
He's past Kareem for me.
Okay.
He's past Kareem for me.
Even with Kareem having all the points that he had and the historical career that Kareem had.
Yeah, because Kareem had the same longevity to factor in that LeBron had with another kind of efficiency. The post was played
a different way.
Real high efficient way.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? At that particular point, couple that with a good run with Magic, and you factor that in with even what happened as Lou Alcindor.
Right.
It's like, yeah, he's top 5. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong, don't get it.
But you think Joker has passed him?
But Joker has passed that just because of the way that I've seen him do it today.
Right.
And it hasn't equated in titles, and I'm glad personally that people have been able to neutralize it.
So Bill Russell and Wilt ain't in this top 3 nowhere.
That's what I'm saying. When you say
not the top 3,
right? You say because when you say I'm assuming that when you say he's surpassed Kareem, that means he's had to surpass Wilt.
Because think about with a line like that. I mean, Russell Westbrook being on the list with with that kind of performance alone, that is complete dominance on every scale,
every aspect. Right.
You got to give a guy a piss test after he do something like that.
Right.
The kind of effort that it requires to give a 30-20-20 of any kind, like in an NBA game. Like,
that's true.
Come on, man. Like,
that's why I'm asking.
You serious with them niggas was shout?
Right.
Like, think about it. What they only win with 7?
Right.
They only suited up 7. He had to do it.
Yeah,
Why he had to
and then I'm gonna pose the same question to you, Cole. Where does he rank now as far as your list of all-time centers? Who is he?
Ours is slightly different. I would definitely put Shaq up there as probably number 3. I think that he's super dominant like that. I would put Joker as number 1. I think his skill set where everything is.
Yeah, that's true. Because Dream didn't have a tray. Like, this fat fucker has the tray. Pull up. Push.
Yeah, and then number 2, I probably have to put Patrick Ewing. Jump shot, post game defense. You know, those are my top 3 of all time, man.
I mean, I get on roll for being for H-Town. I gotta let you slide with that. I mean, I should have known you was gonna take the opportunity to do that.
I'm sorry, man. He had the jump shot just like Joker. He had Joker's jump shot.
And the fact that Olajuwon did him so bad, and you ain't got Olajuwon ahead of Ewing is just
he's close though. He just missed the top 3. He just missed the top 3.
So you got Joker as being the best center of all time. That's what you're saying on record.
Yo, honestly, there's no weaknesses to his game, man. Like, he can post you, he can take you off the dribble. He got head fakes. He got jump shots. He could pass. He could do everything. You don't even need a point guard with him.
Straight up.
You don't need a point guard on your team. He's breaking the ball down. What 5-man breaking the ball down?
30-20-20 was 20 assists. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. You feel me? Running the offense. He is the offense.
I mean, listen. I mean, it's a compelling argument because
it's and one shit.
Well, and the only argument that I can have going towards it, and I don't even know if it's strong anymore. It's like, number 1, it's the championships, because you can point to Kareem and say, you can point to, as much as I don't think even Bill Russell, I think Bill Russell had a big impact, but as far as the impact that Joker has and the impact that Kareem had offensively, you can't put Bill Russell in that category, but he did have 11 championships. Shaq, because of his dominance, we've never seen nothing like that. Now, what I kept asking myself is, when I think about Joker, I think about the skill. And I said to myself, who is the best skill center I've ever seen? For me, it was Olajuwon. The problem with Olajuwon versus Joker is the 3-ball, but centers wasn't playing like that at the time. But Olajuwon's longevity after the Houston run went down. That's my only knock about it. Hakeem Olajuwon checks every box defensively. Never seen anything footwork wise, but when you see Dream in Toronto and the Rockets,
let me say this though. But does Shaq, because he hung around the same way, does that affect his dominance the same way?
Yes, because and we'll get into this on the next topic too. As much as I don't want to admit it, and I still got Jordan as my GOAT because I can only go off what I've seen.
Yeah,
but That's why LeBron is in that GOAT conversation.
Facts.
Because who's been that good that long? You got to start to factor that in. Because as much as I love Elijah Wan, and my only thing, Elijah Wan blocks,
He was out there way
field
too
goal,
long. You know?
the way he finished was just terrible. You know what I'm saying? It may not even been Dream's fault.
That was their era, though.
Right.
Pat got Orlando.
And Pat went bad.
got Orlando,
Pat looked bad
you know?
in Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you can stay too long. You know what I'm saying? Even Shaq.
Pat looked bad in New York.
Look at Shaq in Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? Look at Shaq in Cleveland and Boston. Well, you tripping. But you know, that's one of the reasons that LeBron is getting a case, is that as good as Mike is, and don't get me wrong, Mike's best, his worst was in Washington, was still better than a lot of people's ever would get. 40, he was still scoring 40 points a game. But that's LeBron's case.
It's almost like AC Green. You feel me? Like, remember AC Green grew up, but because kind of he was above it,
right?
Being a Laker that wasn't on it.
Right, Iron Man, right.
So look, I'm gonna give you this.
No, not Iron Man. He was a virgin, huh?
Yeah,
before you change topic.
Like,
So shout out to Hoops Hype, right? Hoops Hype dropped their they top centers, and so I was looking at the list, listening to y'all debate, right? All y'all players is on the list, different order. I'm gonna give y'all a top 10. Number 1, they got Kareem. Number 2 is Bill Russell. Number 3 is Wilt Chamberlain.
And see, that's another thing. See, that's
because Wilt was a freak like Shaq and like
I mean,
like
and people make me mad with this, and I'll say this, and I'll let you keep reading, Chuck. But he scored 100 points in the game.
Yeah, like the feet alone.
Right. The conditioning, the athleticism. Even if you playing against a bunch of 6'1" dudes, it's 100 points. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's 100 points, and just think about the type of athlete. Like, Wilt Chamberlain ran track. He ran cross country, swim. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you got to factor all of that, but keep going on the list. So,
number 4 is Shaq.
Yeah. I mean, those LA years.
Yeah. Number 5, they got Dream.
Yeah.
6, Moses Malone.
And he don't get a lot of credit.
Yeah, Mo don't get no. Bro.
He don't get it. He should have a lot of credit.
They got David Robinson at 7.
I like that.
His peak was high.
I like that.
They got Joker at 8.
Right.
I like that. I like that. I love it.
And I could put Joker above Robinson. I think he surpassed.
Patrick
Robinson
Ewing
got
at
2
10.
championships and Joker got 1. But Joker's got 3 MVP. Go ahead. Go again. I think that was one of the icons on the side of the.
Okay. Got you. Yeah. Joker at 8. Patrick Ewing at number 9. And George Mikan at 10.
Yeah. See, all of those. I could.
I didn't witness George Mikan, but I figured, and I saw some black and white shots that his technique was sound. That he was, he was a trailblazer.
Listen, let me say this. I don't have a problem you putting Kareem ahead of Joker. I don't even have a problem with you putting Wilt. Other than that, it's tough for me. And Kareem, simply because, I mean, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame. Kareem won it. Kareem won in high school. In college, they changed the rules because they didn't want him to dunk because he was dunking so much.
Yeah.
I mean, in UCLA, there was a dynasty there.
Yeah.
I think he lost 1 game in high school, and then he came to the NBA. He had to deal with Chamberlain. But I mean,
and he got him one. He got him
one without him. And then the 80s, they won like 5 championships or something like that. And he had a shot nobody could stop. You knew the hook was coming
the whole time.
Nobody could block it unless you got it down here. So I don't have a problem with that. Kareem has a lot of respect for me simply because now the thing about it is I could turn around in Cole's favor. I could turn around and say, yeah, but somebody had to come down and give him the ball. This guy in Denver, he can take the ball out, dribble the ball up the floor, set up a play. He can score a 3. He can drive. He can shoot a slow ass pull up jumper that nobody can block. You know what I'm saying? He can do a dream shake. It's slow. You know what I'm saying? He can hit a 3-pointer from the side off the glass.
Got floaters.
Yeah. So you can argue for either case, but I don't have a problem.
He's almost like Dirk fat ass brother.
Right.
Weird.
What's his name though? What about Yao Ming? What do y'all rate him?
Just stayed hurt too much.
Yeah.
He had the skill, had the talent.
And because the run
but just stayed hurt.
Shorter.
Yeah, the run was short. Yeah, just stayed hurt.
But in terms of skill and polish,
he's as
good
he's
as
up
they come.
there.
He's definitely honorable.
Yeah, he's up there. But just stayed hurt.
Yeah, prime Yao. Prime healthy Yao.
Yeah.
Different.
Prime Yao had Shaq looking.
Prime Yao.
Confused. But again, he just stayed. It just the body of work wasn't long enough for me, in my opinion. All right. The other topic we got to talk about, does LeBron 50K move his position up for the GOAT conversation? And again, it's 50,000 points.
I think he's been there. Yeah, I think he's been there. Just the witness of this alone, this is the National Basketball Association that we witnessed, that we've been watching all our lives. You understand what I'm saying? So I've seen a lot. We watched a lot together. There's a lot that everybody saw. And man, that is King James. You know what I'm saying? That, like, honestly, like, we've never seen anybody do it like this. We might not ever.
Yeah,
we might.
I mean, that's 50,000 points, man. I mean, and think about it like this,
because you got to factor longevity in. We've seen a lot of boys have runs.
It's got to be longevity. And
T-Mac perennially led the league.
Here's the thing about it: he hasn't been the most skilled guy. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't been the most skilled guy, but the longevity, I mean, he's got a case for the GOAT in there. I still don't consider him my GOAT, but I can understand why people would make him the GOAT.
He's a marvel of like this day and age and product of like conditioning.
Yeah, taking care of your body.
The fuck he's doing. Yeah,
right.
He invests a lot in that and doesn't have any bad habits. He's
Cole, does he have a position for you as far as the GOAT because of that?
I will say I have a newfound respect for the man. Like I can't even hate on him no more.
He used to hate on him so much when he was in school. When he was in Miami, he hated him. What's he
doing at this age? I had to give it up to just what I thought he was diminishing. I think Luka Magic is wearing off on him. You know what I mean? So
he still took credit from him. He still took the credit from him. Now he's giving it to Luka. You know what I'm saying? He still took the credit from him. No, man.
For real. I think he could be mentioned with the GOAT. He's not the GOAT, but he could be mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember nobody playing this good this late. I just can't remember. I can't remember.
Feel me? My GOAT.
Dream.
My GOAT did that was a fatal flaw. That was their biggest mistake. They hung around too long and sullied their memory. Even the GOAT did. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, and
Jordan was still nice though.
Well,
Jordan was nice, but
listen,
he was old.
But listen, let me tell you something. And I think this goes with, and I think this speaks to LeBron. And I had this conversation with my coworkers about Jordan because I posed a question about Jordan. I said this. I said, hey, one of the things that make Jordan so great is this. Number one, can you really tell me? And this could be subjective. Can you really tell me his prime? Because some people say, okay, I had one guy tell me, well, it was the 80s because he was stronger and faster than everybody. Okay, that's the physical prime. The stuff that he was doing, the NBA never seen it. I, for one, said the 92 season because I think the second season with Portland was a season that Portland played them well, but they said it in the last dance. They said, we didn't have an answer for him shooting the ball like that. That was the one thing we were relying on, is that he was so athletic. We were going to try to match his athleticism by double teaming him. But when he started making the consistent jump shot, that's when they said, that's when he took over the lead, because we knew he had the driving ability. We knew he had the strength and speed.
All the way honest.
Right. So now offensively, there's really nothing we can do because we came back off. And then I turned around and I said, well, look, that was for me because that was the best I'd ever seen him. But then he turns around and has a 72-10 season
with a 3-ball.
Right.
And then he had a 3-ball.
And I said to myself, that's what's probably makes him great is that you can draw 3 different times in his career where it's arguable that's his prime.
Yeah, because he got better and he won.
Right.
I mean, ultimate respect,
Right.
like, you know.
And so, again, to LeBron's credit, now, ask that same question. When is his prime? Some people say the second Cleveland run. Some people say it's Miami. But now, you see what I'm saying? As crazy as it sounds, has he played better than what he's ever played now?
No, he hasn't.
Has he? I mean, just checking all the boxes.
Because he's just like he was when he was 21.
Right now,
he's just old.
Right. Now,
You know what I'm saying?
an argument to that and the debate to that, and we don't have time to get to it, is that, you know, it may be because he's playing a different role now. That's every great NBA player's dream, is if I can play a different role, I can stick around. But he's still finishing with the best. He's shooting better than he's ever done.
He's singularly the best, like, basketball player, top to bottom, some kind of way. If
Exactly.
you would have carved a basketball player, I'd put him out there at the task.
Right. So again, and that's gonna be one of my when one day we talk about the greats and people's primes. That's one of the things I've been looking at, is that sometimes I think with great players,
Was
their
it
prime
injuries though? Because it's like Carmelo was right there. Like, think about when they drafted them boys.
Yeah, but here's the thing about even with the comparative analysis I'm doing with Jordan and LeBron, neither one of them had serious injuries in those runs. That's got to be one of the things
That's
that
true.
can tell that you're in
true.
your prime.
That's what set
Because-
Jordan apart, was the fact that he was working harder than everybody else.
And that's why I say I know a case with Jordan in the 80s that was his prime, because physically that was probably his strongest point is athleticism. I'm talking about just natural before the weights and all that. And the NBA had to catch up to him.
Yeah,
because he was so good.
Yeah, to air.
But then after the first championship, that's why I say for me it was 92. One of my reasons was 92 because that was the dream team years. That's when he put everything together. I thought he was invincible.
That's right.
92 against Portland.
Them the difference between the 2-3 piece, really.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
I mean,
he got better every time.
Right.
That's
And
what I'm
then
saying.
I turn around and say, well, if those are his primes, statistically, dominance wise, I'll throw out statistics because he had a season where he won the MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just say pure dominance. It was the 72-10 team.
Yeah.
Where every night he dominated.
Yeah.
And I mean, dominated. He always dominated athletically, but that 72-10 team, he was upset because of what happened. And nobody in the league, I mean, they set themselves. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah,
Right.
quietly. It was really on the low.
Right. And they just swept through the NBA like it was nothing, And so I asked that question. That's probably what makes Jordan great. When can we legitimately say what was his prime? Other than the Washington years, we know that wasn't his prime. But the 72-10 team was in the second three-peat.
He got better. I'd say he got better. He know more. He
Right.
knew more.
The
His
92
motivation
team was the second team in the first three-peat. Then he goes to baseball, plays another sport, comes back, still has a great year considered by regular people's standards. I mean, he scored 55 points coming back from baseball. Right.
45. Yeah.
Got beat by a great Orlando young team, gets mad, doesn't take a day off in the offseason, shoots a movie while he's working out. And in that season, he was so mad, they almost won 82 games.
Feel me?
You know what I'm saying? And they swept through everybody in the playoffs. So I'm saying to myself, shit, that might be his prime right there.
Yeah, that was one of the single greatest runs.
Exactly.
Ever.
So
With the greatest run ever,
right.
really.
And so that was my question to my coworkers. I'm like, well, that's probably why he's so great. We can only say his prime. He wasn't in his prime in Washington.
Yeah.
Because even the seasons that he didn't do, the 72-10 and the 92 season, hell, they still won. They still swept through the, even the year that they gave Barkley the MVP.
He still averaged 30.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how can we say he was not his prime?
because that was evil Jordan
going
on. 72-10 was evil Jordan. That was like a evil multiverse version.
It was like Thanos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And here we are again with LeBron. Even though we watched him get swept, even though we watched him lose 6 times in the finals, has he ever had a bad year?
No.
Has he ever had a down year? Other than the standards of he didn't win like we thought he should have.
Yeah, no.
Has he ever had a year where we said, okay, it looked like it's time for him to start hanging
He's
it
the
up?
benchmark. He's one of the only out there that you can blindly say, you know what, you can be like that, boy. Son.
Exactly.
We work hard every day. You could be like that, son.
So
you know what I'm saying?
so you know, that's gonna be another question I ask. Hell, he's still in his prime.
You feel me? Like there is no mean Bron. Like we just saw mean Bron and Stephen A the other day. You know what I'm saying? That's the only time we've seen mean Bron.
And it's just like one of those things when they got you plugged up to a life support system. When your life starts to go down, you see the ding. We've never seen that with him physically. We've never seen him really slow down.
And the thing is, the shit is brilliant with LA, the way they done it, and able to parlay it, to partner him up with this kid. Because it's like, that might get LeBron a couple more before he go.
Right.
If he stays healthy, they can maximize his time.
So again, you know, I argue that too. It's like the same thing I argue with Jordan. The only thing we know about Jordan is he wasn't in his prime in Washington.
No.
You know what I'm saying? No. But he still had a better career in Washington than more than a large percentage of the NBA. That's how great he was.
Yeah, you snatched who was that? Ron Mercer. He was the fame. He had an iconic block. Highlights for the century.
40-point games as a 40-year-old. But that's the only time that we can say, well, we know he wasn't in his prime. Well, LeBron got the same thing. When has he had an off year? Individually.
I don't know what the things he's able to do, and just what he's able to bring. Right now,
we can hold him to a grade. Well, they didn't win the championship. Okay, all right, and that could be argued with the teams and the organizations. I mean, you know, Cleveland, they got swept by the Spurs, but nobody's gonna beat the Spurs. They might not got swept by them, but that was the Spurs era,
and that was a testament that that's the credit they give Iverson. You
right,
know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the credit they give AI for taking a team like that. And Cleveland, they were like Drew Gooden and
right,
Anderson Varejao.
Right.
I don't even think that was Z. And when Cleveland, I mean, when they were decent at all.
Right. I tell people about Magic. And then we'll move to one more topic and get out. But Magic can be in that conversation because Magic won in high school, college, got to the NBA, and was the focal point. Started Showtime, you know, and not just on the court, but we got cheerleaders
as a culture,
right.
From a game standpoint,
right. And so the only thing we can say about Magic is he kept coming back when he shouldn't have came back. But at the end of the day, like think about the 91 team that played Jordan. They had no business winning the West. Who did they? Divots? No. They had Tony Campbell, Sedale 3. Like they had no business playing the Bulls. How did they make it out of the West? The Portland Trailblazers should be ashamed. The Rockets should be ashamed that the Lakers made it out of the West in 91. That's why I love the 91 championship, but Magic was out there with the knee braces. Like the fact that he was able to get them to the finals. He got to be in the GOAT conversation.
Look, the no look was looking crazy.
It was looking crazy. And he was out there. I think he signed I know he was with Converse, but I think he took a detour and did some LA Gears or some Rydell's or something like that. They had no business being in the finals in 91.
You feel me? The fact that it wasn't even no shoe money left.
Right.
It was just starting to make shoe money.
Exactly. So
Magic say I need a new deal.
Exactly.
Baby.
So I think he was wearing LA Gear or something like that. So that's his case for the GOAT. You know,
Nike say we own something.
Exactly. So, but anyway,
man, that movie brilliant. Y'all go see that movie if y'all ain't seen it, man.
Hey, let me get this one question off, and then we'll get out of here. I'm curious to know, who do y'all think is the best free agent signing in sports history out of the following names? Barry Bonds with the Giants, Deion Sanders with the 49ers, Randy the Big Unit Johnson I think it was with Tampa. I think it was the Devil Rays or something like. No, the Diamondbacks.
Arizona.
Tom Brady with Tampa Bay, Reggie White with Green Bay, or Shaq with the Los Angeles Lakers. Again, I'm coming to you first, Cole. Who do you think is the best free agent signing in sports history out of Barry Bonds with the San Francisco Giants that's leaving the Pittsburgh Pirates? Deion Sanders with the San Francisco 49ers, Randy the Big Unit Johnson, and I want to say that it was either the Diamondbacks or somebody else. There was a big free agent signing with Big Unit. I think he was one of the first pitchers to get $100 million. Tom Brady when he went to Tampa Bay, Reggie White, the Minister of Defense when he went to Green Bay, or Shaquille O'Neal going with the Los Angeles Lakers. Let's start with you, Cole.
I'll say Shaq because he won multiple chips.
Okay. Roll.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that because I was thinking only other one I was thinking was Brady because they can singularly attach that championship to him coming and differentiating. But at this point, yeah, the chips separated, and this is there's a lot of dudes like hell Saquon and did that. So
yeah,
that's just the benchmark.
Now I'm a rival y'all because y'all got a great point on that. I'm gonna say Deion Sanders.
I was thinking about that
because when they went to the Niners, remember the Niners, they ruled the 80s, and then they started to go down in the 90s. That's when the Cowboys was at the height of their reign, and Deion just kind of stepped in there and gave that swag to San Francisco, and they kind of disrupted that.
Yeah,
but right. Shaq does have more rings.
No, because he took it with him to Dallas. As a matter of fact, he kept winning, so it really is arguable.
Right, it's arguable that it's Deion Sanders because as soon as Deion left San Francisco, they won championships in Dallas. A great point.
That was a power move in the birth of a new position. You know what I'm saying? Really, you know what I'm saying? What Kona hadn't been played quite like that with that kind of athlete.
Right,
that's true.
All right, man, great show. All right, let's do some shout out. Shout out to LeBron James for reaching what we just mentioned at 50K. In points. Shout out to Josh Allen and the Bills for reaching an agreement on a new record-setting 6-year, $330 million contract that includes $250 million guaranteed, the largest guarantee ever to an NFL player. I also have a shout out to, and I had this written down. Hold, give me a second. Let me give a shout out to, man, I had it. Kelvin Sampson, University of Houston, for becoming the coach of the year once again in the Big 12. Shout out to that kid. I cannot think of his name, but he also won Defensive Player of the Year for the University of Houston. The big kid. Defensive Player of the Year, Joseph Toger. Defensive Player of the Year in the Big 12. Shout out to, I got another shout out to the Golden State Warriors guard Stephen Curry has accepted a role with his alma mater, Davidson College, as assistant general manager for the basketball program. So shout out to him. He becomes the first active player in U.S. history major pro sports to take an administrative job with the NCAA team. So shout out for him for opening up new doors. And that's really it, man. That's all the shout outs I got. Either one of you guys want to give a shout out to anybody?
Shout out to Justin Fields, man, for becoming the new quarterback in New York. Wishing him luck.
Yeah, because he's going to need it. I hope it works out for y'all, man.
Yeah, we deserve a playoff.
Right.
At least.
Oh, and I want to give credit to the NFC East. The NFC East, did y'all know this, is the only division to have each team in the division win multiple Super Bowls. Damn. Cowboys, Giants, Eagles, and even the Commanders, who was known as the Redskins.
That's true.
So the NFC East is
true.
Maybe be on top of the NFL world.
That's true.
You got any shout outs?
Nah, we actually good to go, man.
All right.
Coming to the time.
Well, Chuck, man, another one in the books, man. Appreciate you. The hardest working man in the podcast business, my man Chuck, aka the CEO of Most Serious Entertainment. Shout out to my man Cole. It's getting late over there, Cole. All of us lost an hour with daylight saving time, but we appreciate you, Cole, bringing those fire takes. And shout out to New York as well. Shout out to my man sitting to the next to me over here on the left row, man. Keep bringing those fire takes. And shout out to everybody who participated in the chat, in the chat. And everybody that supports us, that likes us, we appreciate you, man. And we just want to say thank you to everybody that's not only supporting DWB, but as well Mo Serious as a label and as our website, and everybody that's working with us as community partners. Shout out to you. But DWB episode 6, season 4, another one in the books. Shout out to everybody, and we'll see you pretty soon.
Debate with bake. Season 4. Let's go. Here we go. Debate with Bake Sports Show. Season 4, live at Mo City Radio. We talking basketball, football, and boxing. You got something to say, man? Jump up in them comments. We just giving opinions, supporting it with proof. Let's look at the stats, cause numbers tell the truth. It ain't no hating, we just debating, interviewing guests so we can learn how they operating. Shout out the Prize Picks for the daily fantasy. Invest a few dollars, let's do some gambling. C-Bake got the topics and he keep it cracking. Laro got the commentary and he never lacking. Cole with the game, he live from the Big Apple. You know, Mo Serious Entertainment made it happen. Another sports show, we live from the Mo. Debate with Bake, season 4, let's go.
All right, fellas.